So now that we understand the formula for law of sines, let's look at what the heck all that mumbo jumbo on the last slide meant. So they're giving us an example for angle side angle, and they're saying that we have an angle A of 40 degrees, angle B is 60 degrees, and side C is 12 degrees. They want us to find everything else that's missing on triangle ABC. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go and draw myself a picture, because that, for me, just makes it a little bit easier to organize my work. So I normally just go around and I say, okay, A, B, C, because that goes in order. They told me angle A was 40 degrees. So I'm going to go in, and at angle A, I'm going to label that 40 degrees. They told me angle B was 60 degrees, so I go back to angle B and label it 60 degrees. And they also told me that side C was 12. So now I know that if this is angle C, side C is directly across from it, which means 12 goes here. So now that I've labeled the things that I know, I need to find everything else that I don't know. So I have an angle I don't know, I have two sides I don't know. The first thing I want to do is find that missing angle, because it's the easiest thing for me to do. I know that a triangle has 180 degrees, so if I'm going to find a missing angle when I know two of them, I'm just going to subtract the ones I know, and I get that 80 degrees is left. So that means my missing angle is 80 degrees. Now I need to find side A and side B. So in order to find those, I'm going to use my law of sines. I'm going to find side A first. So since I want to find side A, I know I'm going to use sine of A over A. And then I have to choose whether I'm going to use sine of B or sine of C to help me. The way that I know what I'm going to use is I look to see where I have a full set. So I know I don't have A, I know I don't have side B, but I notice right away that I have angle C and side C. So that tells me that the rest of my formula that I'm going to use to find angle A is sine of C over C, because I can fill in information there. So now I'm just going to go and I'm going to plug in to my equation. I'm going to plug in C for both of my C's, and I'm going to plug in angle A, because I know angle A is 40. So when I go and do that, I get sine of 40 degrees over side A, which is what I'm looking for, equals sine of 80 degrees over 12, because side C was 12. Now, in order to solve this, I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to get 12 sine 40 degrees equals A sine 80 degrees. And I want to get my A all by itself. So the next thing I have to do is divide by sine of 80 degrees on both sides, divide by sine of 80 degrees, which will cancel this. So then I finally get that 12 over sine of 40 degrees equals sine, or over sine of 80 degrees equals A. And now I intentionally didn't turn my sine of 40 degrees or my sine of 80 degrees into decimals at this point, because I want to get a super, super accurate answer. I want my answer to be as accurate as possible. So if I go in and I take the decimals for sine of 40 degrees and I take the decimal for sine of 80 degrees and then round those decimals and put them into my calculation, because these numbers are going to be so small and the decimals are going to be so significant that when I round them, it could end up changing my answer. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep the sine of 40 degrees, keep the sine of 80 degrees, and at the very end, take this entire equation and plug this into the calculator to get one value for A. And when I do that, I end up getting that A is 7.832 approximately, because I'm going to have to round it. Now, I'm going to do the same thing now that I know A. I got A to be 7.832. The last thing I need to do is find B. So in order to find B, I am going to use sine of B over B equals, and now even though I know A and angle A, I know side A, angle A, I'm not going to use that just in case I made a mistake when I was calculating side A. I don't want to carry that mistake through to my second calculation. So I'm always going to use the one they gave me right off the bat. So again, I'm going to use sine of C over side C because I know that entire set of information. So now I'm just going to plug in what I know. I know sine B is 60 degrees over B because that's what I'm looking for. Sine angle C is 80 degrees and side C is 12. And again, I'm going to cross multiply so that I get 12 sine 60 degrees equals B sine 80 degrees. And then I'm going to divide by sine of 80 to get B by itself. So I would have 12 sine of 60 over sine of 80 equals B. And when I type that whole thing into my calculator, you can also use Desmos if you don't have your calculator, I get that B is about 10.553 as my final answer. So that tells me my last missing side is 10.553. And now I found everything that was missing on the triangle and I finished